Hi, and welcome to my Tuesday evening live card making tutorial. This evening, I have a lovely card for you. I'll tell you the story of it. A friend from church, she called yesterday and was telling me a story about someone she thought maybe I know, but I didn't. So a widow and widower met, and they're in their 80s and they have decided to get married, and she wanted a special card for that, a second chance at love. And so this evening I'll be demonstrating for you an elegant handmade wedding card using the Stampin' Up! Cake Celebrations bundle. So let me introduce myself. I'm Shelley Godby, and for 23 years, I've been teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles through my YouTube videos, my Stamping Smiles blog, and my mailing list. And Miss Adelaide is here. Hello. All right, so let's have a closer look at the Cake Celebration Bundle. Now, this is an online exclusives. So the only place you find this pictured is in my online store, www.shopwithshelley.com. It's not in any of the catalogs. Oh, Miss Danette is here too. Hello. And so you've got the stamp set that you can build different cakes for different occasions. And look, we even have candles and sparkles if you want. And then you have dies to go with it, the outline dies for the images, and then some intricate. So you could build a cake with frosting in the layers without even stamping if you wanted. And so whenever there's a bundle, grab the bundle because you'll save 10% on both. Oh, Miss Jean is here. Oh, well, thank you. Oh, she loves my tutorials. Well, thank you so much. And so I didn't get around to that because I got this done. Well, I need to get one done for her because she was picking it up while I'm doing the video. And of course, I needed one for myself. So by the time I did all that and got ready, I didn't have time to play around, but that would be a lot of fun. And so my dies, well, I have them stored on a magnet card, and I pick these up at Stampin' Storage. Okay. And so instead of trying to get them back on that cardstock with the tape, I store them on here super, super strong, and that way I don't lose any. And then I slide them into one of these pockets, and when I get around to it, I put a label. But even like this, because I can see them all, I put them into my photo box. That's how I store mine. And it just keeps me really organized. So, and so let me show you the photo pocket. So here is the QR code. This will link you right to Stampin' Storage. And so follow that, the storage pockets, because I accidentally bought sleeves and I didn't mean to get sleeves. So here we go. Here's the Cake Celebrations bundle. Now, every time I talk prices, I'm a US demo, so I talk US prices. Look at that, $37.75 for a bundle. It's like, oh, that is stinking cool. So let's see. All right. Oh, and Miss Bonnie is here, and she's already, yay, given my video a thumbs up and a share. And so I will ask you to please like my video, thumbs up, a like, and share, and comment. Come in and say hello, because we just love hearing from everybody. And all that just really helps out. Okay, so before we do die cutting, we need to do some stamping. So what I have here is some basic white cardstock. And whenever you're stamping on white cardstock, you absolutely want to use the Stampin' Up! Basic White because it has a smooth, tight finish to give you crisp, clean images. And pretty in pink. This is one of the, what year are we in? 24, 26 in colors. And I just went ahead and mounted two of them. Now I've done something I don't normally do because I'm concerned about rocking, but I mounted them to the edge. And so then I'm just going to the edge of the pad because it's really easy to rock the small stamps. And I thought, okay, let's give it a try. And it worked really well. Whoops. Okay. Works really well if you stamp well. There we go. And so really pleased with that. All right, and I need one more flower. And all in pretty in pink. Okay, so let's put those aside. And we're done with this. So a little push, pull on this lip, All right, there we go. And click. And I need some leaves, so granny apple green. And you know, I didn't have a lot of notice, and I planned to do something else, and then I started looking through because she asked me to go through cards I already had. But then I remembered the cake celebrations, and there is a sample that I just was crazy about with this. And so I am duplicating that with just a little bit of a twist. Oh, see, I knew that I was doing that with little stamps. I'm not pressing down all the way. Okay, we're going to turn it over. I don't know. All right, let's do this the right way, shall we? There we go. Got a full image. I only need one of those. Okay. And then, so this is working really well because normally I would put it in the center and then I rock it. And actually, what I really wanted this for was for building the cake. Okay. Well, if nothing else, I'm consistent. But we've got plenty of space on here. I need 4 of these. Okay. So that is all we need, and we're ready to die cut. And we will do some embossing. So I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine right here. And I realize I put all these stamps where this needs to go. We'll see. Yeah, that's not going to lay down. So hold on. Oh, Miss Roxanne is here and Miss Madonna. Oh, fantastic. And so they're getting married Saturday. So I didn't have a lot of time. But like I said, this card caught my idea. Is it just me, or are their samples just getting better and better? I find myself wanting to duplicate more and more of them. So what I have here is plate number 1. And we're going to use the Layered Florals 3D embossing folder. And I've got 2 pieces of basic white cardstock. Oh, Miss Patricia's here too. So I'll put my cardstock in here. And it doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight because this image is just all over. And you want the hinge to go in first. And the easy way to remember that, the Stamp Up logo facing you. Okay. And then because it's a 3D embossing folder, we're not using the standard cutting plate folder with paper in it cutting plate, because that's too thick. And one cutting plate isn't thick enough. The perfect thickness is a plate number 4, the specialty plate. And that comes with the purchase of a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but it is something you can pick up separately. And under the video, I have the link to it. And so if you've got a machine with the same size plates, for instance, the Big Shot and the 3D, wow. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, it's just so deep, so pretty. Okay, so we're done with that. And then next I need either, I can use the plate number 1 and 2, or if you've been following me, you know I really prefer the magnetic platform because then I don't need any adhesive. But regardless if I use plate number 1 and 2 that comes with this to get to the appropriate thickness, or the magnetic platform, I still need a cutting plate. Oh, yeah, Miss Roxanne agrees. The samples are just getting better and better. I'm just finding so many. It's like, okay, I absolutely have to copy that. No 2 ways about it. Okay, so my dies are right here. And I'm just going to die cut one in case someone's new to die cutting, because it's all these little pieces. All right, and so the cutting edge is that raised edge, and that will go down. And it took me a little bit to figure it out, but this little small bumpy area is that. So, because you rotate and rotate and rotate till you get it. Okay, let's try again. There. Oh, did you hear that click? That click is really helpful, especially in such a tiny die, because there are just circle magnets all through it. You know, it's not one solid magnet. And centering this around, let me, whoops. Well, we know where the magnet is. I should have pulled the whole thing, not just bring it back with me. I want to make sure I'm doing a decent job. Okay, here we go. There. Feels like a puzzle sometimes. I spin and spin and spin, and then I finally figure it out. It's like, okay, awesome. All right, and then you finish it with the sandwich with another cutting plate. And we will crank that. And so we've got the coordinating dies to do all these, the smaller ones, in the leaves, and this one. So we've got dies for all of that. Let's see. Okay. As I often say, the magnetic platform doesn't make me a perfect die cutter, but a much better one. I just love it. And it holds it in place. I don't need washi tape, or I don't need anything else, any kind of adhesive to hold it in place. All right. So let's go ahead and let's slide this in here. But isn't that nice? The die just right back on, because that's so small, it'd be really easy to lose those. So we've got more. Let me bring this over here. All the die cutting. Okay, so our die cutting and embossing is done. So I can set that aside. And we have some stamping, but before we do that, how about we do some embossing? And so I have some Flirty Flamingo cardstock here, and my embossing additions toolkit. This thing is so cool because it just makes embossing so much easier. So this tray, we will sprinkle the powder in there, and this brush is so we can take off the cap and funnel it back in. And embossing powder sticks to what's wet, and we'd like it to stick only to the Versamark, this pigment ink, but it will stick to the oil that in my hands from touching this. So this is an embossing buddy that comes with it. I rub it over it, and that eliminates most, if not all, of any extra oil that we don't want. All right, so let's open this up. Now this is interesting because with this stamp set, we can do different things. You know, you've got happy birthday, happy anniversary, celebrate, but we're going to do happy wedding day. So they're all separate. And I thought, wow, is that all going to fit on there? And then I looked closer at their sample and I never caught it, right? Until I was ready to stamp it myself. And so here's a little, we got the happy. And we're going to come up at just a bit of an angle here to leave room for the rest. All right. And so that's a watermark. And see, oh, there you go. You can see that. So it's just a shade or two darker. I used to use it for backgrounds. It's been a long time because it is so subtle, but mostly for embossing because it stays wet a good long time, you know, to give me time so I don't have to rush. And then day. And come over here, straight up and down. Fantastic. So hopefully I did a good job stamping. So now I have my tray and my embossing powder, and this is the white from the Wow Basics embossing powder. And we'll take this off, sprinkle it on. And this is always my favorite part, when the embossing powder sticks to the image. Like, oh, it's just a little thrill. All right, so see, it sticks. How cool. And then I tap it to get off anything extra. And I stamp day upside down. Huh. All right. Well, that's not the plan. Let's turn the stamp the right way. So God gave us two sides to cardstock. There we go. I wondered as I was stamping it. Let's brush this off, though. Okay, we get to try again. All right, and so if you're just joining us, please give my video a thumbs up and a share. I really appreciate that. And say hello. We've just got the nicest group of sweet stampers watching. All right, so we get to do this again. Yay. All right. So happy. Just a bit of an angle. You know, it did fit, even if it was upside down. Wedding. This is right side up. And it stuck only to the image. Things were really good, but yeah, that's life. And day. There we go. All right, let's try that again. And so here's something that I do. I don't keep dumping it out of the jar. Once there's some on here, I just pick it up from here. Because, you know, the less I put in here, the less I have to get back in, the less opportunity for waste. Okay, let's come over here, get the day. And, okay, a little bit more of the day. There we go. And see, that's what's nice about the pigment ink. It stays wet. Oh, I did the wrong side. I'm okay, really I am. Well, that's how wet it stays. The side I just did and brushed all that off, I repowdered. Oh my goodness. Well, that is cool, but let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, someone chime in and say, yeah, I've done that too. So I don't feel so stupid. So what I have here, these tweezers are part of the Embossing Editions toolkit. And you see how nice that was? I squeezed and then it clamps on. I don't have to keep squeezing. But more important, because this little piece, my fingers would get really toasty because the embossing heat tool, oh, it gets super hot. And so this holds it in place, good and strong with all this metal, but the tip is plastic, and that stops the heat from radiating up it and burning my little fingers. So the heat tool, awesome tool. Oh, Michelle, hello. And the first setting is to just dry some ink. The second setting is more intense, and that will melt the embossing powder. So you don't need to do this unless you really want to. I hold it in place so it can heat up and start melting. There we go. And look how it gets so opaque. I mean, I always thought it was really cool and the powder just stuck, but that white against the Flirty Flamingo cardstock is just stunning. There we go. And once it gets started, it goes pretty quickly. And so this happened earlier. After I'm done, I hold it in the light and see if anything's powdery. And if it is, I go back and finish it. And that happened when I was making, I don't know, my card or her card today. There we go. And so that's really nice. And I've even found it the next day, it caught it. And it still let me finish doing it. So like I said, I will funnel that back in to my jar. And everything I'm using, unless I tell you otherwise, is available to order in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. Okay, so now we get to build our cake. And we'll start with the wild wheat. You know, this is one of the 2325 in colors, and I'm really going to miss it. Oh, Miss Florence, thank you. Okay, I'm not crazy. Miss Florence says she has done that too. Like, oh my gracious. All right, so this color is just beautiful. Someone was telling me, one of my downline was saying, you know, when the 2325 in colors came out, she wasn't so keen on them, and now she's totally hooked because they just mix in so well with, I mean, they work well together, of course, but they mix in with others. So by having this on the edge, isn't that, I mean, probably you all do that, but I'm not catching an edge that will then end up on my card and have to turn it over or sometimes start all over. I really like that. So let's come up a little bit higher than I did on my sample. Oh, Shelly. Okay, we get to turn over anyway. So we can't make any more mistakes. Well, I've got plenty of cardstock here if I need to. All right, let's turn this. Okay. I can always grab my paper trimmer and cut more if need be, but let's hope not. There we go. Isn't that a beautiful cake stand? And it really is pretty. It looks like a gold cake stand. Wild wheat, I tell you, that's one to grab up and make sure you have the refill and everything else before it gets gone. And you know what a good time might be to do that? We have got free shipping right now with orders of $75 or more. Of course, I'm saying US. Okay, and so Petal Pink, it's nice and warm. It goes well with Flirty Flamingo. But what's interesting is these are pretty in pink because we will be using this designer series paper from the Marbled Elegance. And you know what? Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I use that for a Valentine card, and that video is out there. I would have never put the warm pinks with the cool pinks, and it works. I mean, I fell in love with it, and I had to, when I'm trying to decide what the colors are, I went, oh my goodness. I probably would have done the cake in pretty in pink, and everything would have been pretty in pink, or you know, melon mambo, you know, keeping everything cool. And so this is really good for me to watching mixing these pinks up. So, okay, I've got petal pink, and now we need to, like I said, build our cake. So let's do this on the edge, or this way. There we go. Then it's in the right orientation. And I'll tell you how I did this, and I did catch it, and I hit it, and I thought, okay, there's just got to be a better way. And with it right there, I feel like I can see a little better. Excuse my head if I get into the camera shot, but I really need to be able to see. This is a light color, so I want to hold down a little bit extra long, and I did not stamp well. Well, you know what? If nothing else, I am consistent this evening. All right, that did not work, and I already messed up the other side. Let's try this again. I'm going to come back here where I can see. Okay, that's better. Whew. Not perfect, but better. All right, let's do our next layer. Now, I did not have that problem while stamping earlier. I don't know what, just one of those days or episodes, huh? All right. There we go. Okay. Done with those. Done with petal pink. Pull this, click. And then the Flirty Flamingo, this gets pulled in here with the decorations, the frosting. And let's come up here. And oh, for Peter's sakes. There we go. I will show you my sample when we're done. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. So once again, once I start, you know, I don't stamp something well, something gets in my head, and I keep doing it because I had none of these issues making my 2 cards today. Okay, now that looks good. That's the way it should be. Oh, my goodness. All right, so we've got all the elements done. Oh, and then on the sample, they used the Baker's Twine Essentials Pack. And thank goodness the way I'm stamping, I'm glad I have this bow done. And so this is cut to fit edge to edge. Isn't that beautiful? But, oh, so you have to look up my Valentine card with the Hearts of Elegance. I think I put it up December 2nd. All right, so what I have here is the Stampin' Seal Plus because the gold foiling, sometimes, you know, just regular adhesive doesn't stick as well to it. So I just go ahead and use something extra strong. You could use mini glue dots. I like the Stampin' Seal Plus. And edge to edge. Okay, and now we have the embossing. So we got a lot of flowers going on. So this time, because it is so deeply embossed, I'm going to use the mini glue dots. And so we take them out of here because they're not a dispenser. They're just a holder. Peel this back until I can see the dots and take my cardstock to it because I want to avoid touching them whenever possible. All right, so as I'm doing this, so free shipping, I mean, that is stinking cool because, I mean, that's on anything. Online exclusive products, the annual catalog, prepaid paper pumpkins, last chance list with discounts up to 80% off and free shipping. As long as your order gets to 75, that is really a cool time, of course, and as well as the annual catalog. So if you can order it at my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com, it qualifies for free shipping if you get when you get your order up to 75. Okay. And so that might be a time to start thinking about, the 23, 25 in colors, because we're not having a color refresh for a while. So, and that there's no guarantee they'll come back to that either. And this wild wheat is just stunning. Okay, so this is just a little cattywampus. And this goes over top, comes down a little bit. There we go. I really like that. Oh, you made your order today? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so now we're going to use mini glue dots on this side again. And here they are. On this side. And after a while, I just tear this off. And here we go. There's one. There's one. And then on this side, because I've got this built up, I need it to set nicely. So I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. Whoops, as they stick. And my take your pick tool is right here. Let me grab a couple of these. Is it warm in here or is it just me because I'm screwing up? I think it's because I'm screwing up. Okay, and then there we go. Right, so then we get to do the sandwich. And so you could use, or not the sandwich, the flowers, I'm sorry. You could use mini glue dots if you prefer. I'm just going to use Stampin' Seal on this. Get these all turned over. Guess I could have had that part done, but all right. So while I am doing this, I can tell you, in kits, because they're in the online exclusive, and there are several kits that are retiring that they reduce down to half off. Because, I've demonstrated a lot of the kits for you, and that the birthday card kit, has that calendar, the pocket. It is fabulous. I mean, it was $25, worth every penny of that because you get this great organizer and 12 cards. It's down to $12.50. Like, woo. But of course, anything that's on the last chance list is available now only while supplies last. So I encourage you to get over there and see what treasures there are, up to 80% off, and take advantage of free shipping. And you can mix things up. It can be from the annual catalog, the mini catalog, the online exclusives, last chance. You can just mix it all together. Prepaid paper pumpkins. If you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, when they have the extras, refill kits and kits, but you have to be a subscriber to get those. Okay, so all of that is done. And I'll turn this one over. I can't wait for her to see this card. I have some others for her to pick from, but this one's just so special. And that tickles me that I'm going to get to be part of their day by having made a card. Okay, so you do this. We'll just place this. Let's not press down yet till I am happy with my placement. And we need one of this. I thought there were 3 of each of the flowers, and then I looked closer and found this, and that makes sense because you know what Grandma always said, you do in odd numbers. It's more pleasing to the eye. Okay, and here. Oh, well, a small one. And so, you know, you can personalize this. I mean, pink's my favorite, so this just totally worked for me, but you could so easily adapt this into, you know, the favorite colors of the bride and groom. Or, you know, if you use this for something else, you certainly could use this for a birthday card. Someone's favorite colors. I'm going to tuck that in a little bit more. Okay, it's stuck here. And one more coming out over here. I find it easier to do the flowers and then figure out where the leaves go, even though they're underneath. But now that everything is where I want it, let's press down. And then we'll come over here with, oh, we can start with this leaf. That take your pick tool is pretty handy, instead of me trying to claw them up. And this time we do the largest. Oh, most of your order was last chance. I mean, there's some bargains there that are just shouldn't be resisted. Okay. I'll turn this one around. There. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Now we do have an embellishment. Okay, and so then we have our bow. Thought about leaving it off, but it really does make it. And for this, I do want to use a mini glue dot. So use my take your pick tool. I mean, this, I can't think of a card I don't use this on. Trying not to touch it, but I did. And right there. And we'll trim these tails a little bit. So fantastic. And now our happy wedding day goes here. And so back with my favorite adhesive ever, Stampin' Dimensionals. And so tomorrow, after this video is done uploading into HD, I will have a link to my blog post. So you can come back here and get that link, or just go to my website, www.stampingsmiles.com, and I will have all the measurements to make it easy for you to duplicate, as well as a downloadable PDF. All right, so when I did this one was down too far. So I'm going to add a second one so it sits on there better. Okay, peel that off. And we want the loops to go on both sides. Come up here a little bit, centered, looking good. All right, and this really does finish it off. And these are the Iridescent Pearls Basic Jewels. And it's amazing what this does to finish off this lovely, lovely card. All right. We'll put one in the center of each of the flowers. So I like to press down on them to make sure the adhesive is sticking to the gem and not the acetate sheet. It's been a long time since that's happened to me, but it used to happen to me, and that's how I developed that habit. And so the Marbled Elegance Specialty 12 by 12 Designer Series paper, that's an online exclusives as well. And so if you're watching on YouTube or on my website, you know, starting on Wednesday, all the supplies are listed under the video. And there we go. A beautiful happy wedding day card with the cake celebrations bundle. just so, so lovely. And like I said, one of those I couldn't resist wanting to make myself. And look at that. My cake was not done perfectly, but by the time we got done with all the flowers, you would never know. It worked out, I think, just as well as this one. Ha, imagine that. So there we go. An elegant handmade wedding card for a very special occasion for a couple that have found love twice. All right, so I am not seeing any new comments. So let's do this. All right. So it is that time of evening where I say, thank you for joining me. Let me come back here. Thank you for joining me this evening and sharing a little bit of your Tuesday evening with me. And I'm sure hoping you enjoyed my cake celebrations card, the remake of the Stampin'. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Let me come back. So on their sample, they stamped the leaves right onto the cake. And I decided I thought if these are cut out, I like the depth, the dimension it gives it. And so I did die cut those. So if you go look at the sample, you will see that that is different. Okay. And oh, we got some comment. Oh, thank you, Miss Roxanne. Thank you so much. And Miss Danette. So yeah, even though I messed that bad boy up, it still worked out just fine, um, because of all the decorations that went on there. So it's that time of evening that I thank you for joining me. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you, and God bless.